Good morning, my tiki-talkies. I am slightly late this morning. Slow moving after a long weekend. And look at this hair. Seriously. Can your hair do this? Can it? If so, I feel bad for you. Because, I try to get this under control and it just does not want to stay under. Oh, maybe it is under control now. Who knows? Anyway, happy Tuesday, although it feels like a Monday. I had a very long, wonderful weekend, but it was extremely busy, and I am looking forward to slowing down after these kids finally get out of school for the summertime. So I figured last week, since we spent all week on a pastel, I wanted to go back to our roots of watercolor, and I was able to clean up my desk just a little bit, which is kind of nice, let's face it. And I also wanted to bring in some watercolors that I didn't really get much of a chance to talk about last week, which I thought I could do today. So I'm going to be bringing those in here. And one of my tiki-talkies was having a hard time with some masking fluid over the weekend. And not masking fluid, adhesive sizing, which is what we use for the gold that we put on a lot of our work together, which is this gold foil here. And so I thought today I could show you some of the techniques that we could do for applying this in a straight line, because a lot of people have a hard time with that, including myself. So that is what we're going to do today. Gotta grab this, and I think we're going to have fun. So that being said, let us get started. So today I'm going to be using my Arches watercolor travel journal. And if you have not seen this, it is in my showcase. This is a really nice way to be able to experience professional watercolor paper at a less expensive price. As you can see, I did splash a little bit on this. It is what it is. I don't care that much. But I figure we could do something similar to this, kind of maybe a sister piece to this, if you will, and work with some of those shimmers that we talked about, or maybe even bring in different colors altogether. I don't know. We'll just see. Got a little puppy hair on there. So Lenny's here. Good morning from a different city this morning, because you are not down the street from me this morning. How did you sleep last night, girlfriend? Were there ghosts in the house? I'm dying to know. Dying to know. And I think you know which ghost I'm talking about. You hope. You hope not. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's like, I'm not sure you want that ghost in the house, but I don't know. Let me turn this on Do Not Disturb before my phone starts going off like crazy. Anyways, there we go. Okay, now I am going to put a little something down to protect the watercolor next to this, so that I can put some tape down without hurting this. And usually what I do for that is I just put down another piece of paper. Let's see, I can put this one like right here. I get a little bit in the way. Let's try to find a smaller one. This one maybe. There we go. And then I'll just use tape over top of it. Apparently Calvin's harness got hooked on a cabinet knob and he had to... Way to leave me hanging, Lenny. He had to. He really did. Okay, so this morning, I think I'm just going to randomly pick one of these colors from Palette Scout. All right, here we go. I'm going to close my eyes or just look away. And let's just go with whatever this one is. Ibis. This color. Okay, not bad. Hi, Bethany. Good morning. No, I think it cut off, Lindsay, because it only gives you so many characters. So it says, apparently Calvin's harness got hooked on a cabinet knob and he had to. Then it cut off. And then it says, encourage your viewers to share your live and invite more friends. Then it says, I think the comments come in slow to you. And then Bethany says, hey. And then you said, okay, apparently I said something wrong. TikTok said it removed my comment. Oh. Good old TikTok. All right, so I'm going to use my Palette Scout and I'm going to grab all of the colors in Ibis, which I am missing one, but I know where that one is because it's all the way over here. And you could speak in code, Lindsay. What did he do? So we could go with triadic, split complement, analogous, monochrome, or complement. And my thought is, because I'm a glutton for punishment, as always, triadic seems to be the thing that he got hooked on the cabinet, but then what? He had to what? Oh, slide out. Really? TikTok blocked that? All while I was sleeping. Oh, poor Calvin. Wow, TikTok. Do better. Do better, TikTok. Ugh. Poor Calvin. He's such a boy. Well, hopefully he's not traumatized. All right, so this one with the triadic, if we go here and look here, I know it's probably hard to see. Oh my gosh, he threw up 3 times. Good gosh. Let me just zoom this in. They also blocked that, oh, that he's eating grass. Oh, probably because grass, yeah. Happy birthday, Bethany. Yesterday was also my son's birthday and my friend Dana's birthday. Did you do anything fun for your birthday, Bethany? Let's just say it was an emotional wreck in the afternoon. Oh no. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, if you're willing to share, we're willing to listen. So with the triadic, as you can see here, since I've zoomed in, the circle in the orange matches this circle in the orange. So we're gonna go to carrot. Let's see here. No, because of the surgery I had. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. So still working on that recovery and trying to, you know, get some semblance of normalcy back, huh? It's gonna be a bit. Lindsay, carrot. Yep, it is called carrot, and I am missing 2 of the colors from carrot, which I don't exactly remember where I put it. Sometimes I just have to keep digging. Seriously. Okay, come on. I know it's this orangey color, but that one's Ember. I know these are the ones I used recently, so it's not going to be up here. Yeah, that's Ember still. Flame. Amber. It's usually right after Amber because it's in alphabetical. Now, I'm pretty sure this one's Ocean, and it is, so I'm just going to pull that aside while I see it. Daylily's pretty close, but it's not it. Oh, wait. Did I just see something? No, I didn't. I feel like I'm missing some cards. Nope, they're just right there at the end in my hand, you know. Right in front of my face. Why am I so stupid, Lindsay? Why am I so stupid? Let's see here. Well, let's just say I might have gotten... Oh, hang on. I think I got to go back a little bit. Hello, good morning, says the Whimsy Creations. Good morning, the Whimsy Creations. Bethany says, well, let's just say I might have gotten my biological mom arrested, the stress, and my daughter fighting me. Oh, gosh. That is a lot. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Jeez. Well, I hope all of that gets worked out. I can't even imagine. That's got to be really tough. Let's see here. The Whimsy Creation says, what are you planning to work on today? Lindsay says, geez. Bethany says, over wearing shorts was the last push. Lindsay says, I hope today is better for you. For sure. The Whimsy Creations, to answer your question, we are going to do some more watercolor mixed media work over here, and a couple of things. So I didn't have much of a chance last week because we were working on pastels all week to look at some of the watercolors that I had ordered from Artistic Isle, and so I figured we'd do that. And I had swatched them. It wasn't like 2 days ago Sunday. It was the Sunday before. But I know that my regulars aren't typically on during that time. So I figured I'd show you some of the ones that I got and some of the ones that I have so that we can use them on here. And then I wanted to use Palette Scout again to come up with the color palette. And then one of my regulars, Lori from Feral Mom, or not from Feral Mom, her username is Feral Mom, had messaged me over the weekend saying that she was having a hard time trying to get some straight lines to do the foil with, to do like foil work lines like we did over here, which I'm just using this to protect from, you know, using the stuff here, which I'm now realizing might not be even, but whatever, I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I was going to demonstrate a way to do that so that you could get a nice, crisp, clean line, because it can be difficult to get a crisp, clean line. So I hope she shows up today for that. Anyhow, so I randomly picked a color, and oh, Lori's here. Yay, you are here. Good morning. I might have missed it. Yay. So I randomly picked a color out of my Palette Scout. This one was Ibis, and because I'm a glutton for punishment, I chose Triadic. And so these are the Triadic colors that it comes with. And yeah, so that's what I'm going for. what I wanted to do, because this is really bothering me now. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I was taping down my paper. Okay, I've just made a mess. Let me do this again. Guys, I am off my rocker this morning, right? You did. It was like your ears were burning, right? Yeah, it was like one of my followers messaged me over the weekend saying they were having a hard time. And then I was like, Lori with Feral Mom. I'm like, well, she is Feral Mom, not from Feral Mom. But anyway. Okay, so what I was trying to do was use this tape strip to create a nice border. But I don't want to ruin my other piece of work over here. So let me just try to get that as even as I can. And then put this here. And so then this tape will go over the top of it. Okay, whatever. It's just going to have to be what it's going to be. All right. So let's go back to our color palettes. So we have these 3 colors here. And these are going to just go off to the side here. Now, these are also pretty. I don't know what I'm going to pick, but I know for sure this and this are going to be involved because I have the perfect colors for this: phthalo turquoise and opera pink. I also have cobalt teal, which I might do instead of phthalo turquoise, which I have in an Artistic Isle watercolor. Phthalo turquoise is actually probably more like this tone, so we might bring in some of that. We could custom mix a darker tone to bring in some of this, because that would be beautimous. And quite honestly, I love that dark tone, and I love this tone too. All right, let's bring in some of these. Let's see what we want. Dun, 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 dun. Hang on. I'll bring all of them over here and decide. This one is probably a good one because we need some lights up in here. And I'd say probably this one too. All right, let's take a look. What do we think here? I think we got a lot of darks. Maybe we ditch... I'm thinking maybe we ditch this dark, because at some point this one will probably be light enough to go kind of between these two, just because of the nature of watercolor. Or maybe we do need to bring in kind of one of these in-between colors like this, and then maybe get rid of this one. What do you think? What are we thinking, everybody? I don't know. Maybe we have too many darks still. Let's see. We could do this. This is why I love Palette Scout. I like the last 3, these 3. Okay. We could also mute them a bit, though I want them to be vibrant because it's going into summertime. I like all of them. Okay. All right, Jen's going to need to make a decision here because I don't like floundering. But I do like flounder, as long as it's not sandy or fishy. Okay. Let's see. Let's do, I know I want these 2. No, I want this one. I love this color, and I know I have it. I just don't know what to bring in on the carrot side, because I don't know if this is the right carrot. Let's try maybe a light blue. No. Maybe this light blue. No. I just feel like we need a little more balance in the yellow. I don't know, maybe something like that. Let's see. Let's just see. Let's go with this and see. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. All right. This is being a little biatch. Let's lay it down one more time. Okay, there we go. So here's the colors we're going to use for this. We've got Daniel Smith Opera Pink, Artistic Isle, Cobalt Teal. This one is going to be Daniel Smith Naples Yellow. This one is going to be Daniel Smith Quinacridone Gold. This one is going to be Daniel Smith Phthalo Turquoise. I may mix in a little bit of indigo for that. And then this one is likely going to be Rose of Ultramarine. So let's bring in a little swatchy tester. And we'll take a look and see what those look like compared to the cards. So I feel like I'm a really slow mover this morning. Just slow getting started. It's that what is going on with this brush? It's that four, or was it 3? Yeah, it was the 3-day weekend energy. I think this paper's backwards, but whatever. Okay, so here we have the Opera Pink. Here we have the Cobalt Teal, which I also have this one that I got in from Artistic Isle called Twisted Tide. I think it's got some shimmer in it underneath this top layer, which is basically the same as Cobalt Teal. So we'll see if maybe we bring in some of that, and let's see how it dries. And then we've got Naples Yellow, which may need to add some more to my palette over here, but we'll see. Naples Yellow. And then we've got Quinacridone Gold. And then let's do Phthalo Turquoise. That's the one I might add some indigo to, but let's just see. Might just need a little bit of darkening to it. So let me bring in some indigo. And then maybe just a little bit more turquoise to it. There we go. And then Rose of Ultramarine should be right over here. All right, here's our color palette. Good morning, Smile. How was your weekend? So, I think that's a pretty close match. I don't think that Quinacridone Gold really matches the Carrot number 3. So I think what we need to do is bring in just a little bit of maybe some sepia to it. So I'm just going over to my palette over here. Uneventful. Nice. I wish mine was uneventful, but I shouldn't say that. I had a good weekend. It was just non-stop busy. But my little boy turned 8 yesterday. We had a wonderful party for him. He's super into space. And so we had a space-themed party. And we went to Gainesville on Sunday because 2 of my girls are in Girl Scouts. And we did a horse thing out there, which was an all-day thing. And Saturday we had 2 birthday parties, and then one of our other kids had like a friend get together thing. So we were kind of driving all over the place. And then Friday we had my son's completion. And yeah, it's amazing because, you know the story behind you know a little bit of the story behind my son. Because I think we had commented back and forth on a video I had posted of him. Each birthday with him is such a gift. I say this, but like each birthday with anyone, of course, is such a gift because every day is a gift. But with him, it's like, because he did die and he was resuscitated, it's like most kids that go the route that he went don't survive. And he's just so many little miracles in one little boy that every birthday just carries a weight to it that is unusual for, I guess we feel it more with him than we do with our other kids. So anyway, it doesn't mean the other kids' birthdays aren't special, of course, or aren't gifts, of course. It's just we do a lot more reflection, I suppose you could say, with his. So it was just pretty incredible last night before I put him to bed. I had him come sit in my lap, and my parents had bought him one of those projectors that project the solar system onto the ceiling. And they have like these little discs that you can like change out. And so it's got like different planets and galaxies or black holes or that sort of thing, because he just loves space. And he ended up deciding on the black hole. So I had him sit in my lap, and we were just looking up at it and talking, and just, was thinking back to that time and how thankful and blessed and fortunate and just all those things. I mean, I feel like there isn't a word adequate enough to describe the feeling of gratefulness, but like just being able to sit there and hold him 8 years later and celebrate his birthday with him. It was just, it's like all of that's in our past, and he's here and he's happy, he's healthy, and just feeling all the gratefulness for it. So anyway, I'll stop with that now, but it was good. It was really good. So, and then this is the last week of school for my kids. So looking forward to slowing down for the summer. It'll be good. That's the hope, Feral Mom. That is the hope. You know what? Let me put this back over here so you guys can see it while I paint it. So we're going to do the same thing we always do, which is to start with a wash. And I'm just gonna paint this like this. There are some splatters on this paper from when we did the one next to it, but it doesn't bother me. It's just gonna kind of fade into the background, and if it doesn't, I will find a way to work it into the background. So I figured today, Smile, I don't have like a specific thing that I have in mind, but what I wanted to do was talk a little bit with my regulars about a couple of things. So the first was I had ordered some more shimmers, some more shimmery watercolors from Artistic Isle so that I could finish that peacock, which I got in the mail, but we've just been so busy I haven't had a chance to finish it yet. So it's still sitting and looking like this. Yay. But so with that order, because I needed this color to finish the peacock. So I wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about these as we paint with them. And then Lori had messaged me over the weekend saying she was having a hard time with applying like thin straight lines of not masking. I keep calling it masking fluid. I don't know why. My brain is just not there today. Of this adhesive sizing for gold leafing. And so I figured I would demonstrate how I do that. It's a pain, but it is what it is. And that way, anybody who's struggling with that can hopefully get a feel for how they might be able to replicate that in their work. So it's going to be another mixed media sort of day. So I let that sit for just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and add another layer of water. I probably should have figured out how to tape this down flat, or used a this thing. I suppose it's not too late. There we go. And then I'm going to grab, let's do this one. This is my Heritage number 8. Now there is a little bit of water on here that's pooling that I don't love. You can see it. So I'm just going to take that, that flat brush and pick up that excess water. Just kind of move that around like that. All right, so let's start with the pink, because I think I'm feeling the pink today. I don't know why. And let's maybe, I think maybe what might be fun is to take this and just kind of like do some sort of crazy sort of line work like this with it. And then we'll go into the cobalt teal. And then we'll do this. And then we'll go into the Naples yellow. The Naples yellow I have kind of a love-hate relationship with, because it it's kind of goopy. So it's not as pigmented when you try to pick it up and put it down on your paper, like something like this cobalt, or this cobalt teal, or this opera pink. So let's see here. Okay. And then let's go in with that little mixture we made of the quinacridone gold. And then let's do that phthalo turquoise mixture. I gotta make the sound effects, you guys. And then let's grab some of this rose of ultramarine, and we'll go. Okay, so now we're gonna tilt the paper. You see how it's doing the lines? Yay! And then we're going to tilt the paper this way. Looks like a circus. And then we're going to tilt the paper this way. Not sure I like it, you guys. And then I'm going to tilt the paper this way. All right, now let's fix this up a little bit better. So let's go like an airplane. Open the hatchet. All right, there we go. And let's see here. Let's add some of that yellow quinacridone gold. So you got to do the. It's funny you should say that, because as I'm sitting here trying to watch it in here to make sure that I have it for you to be able to see, I'm finding myself going, oh yeah, let me try to see it. So yeah, I get where you're coming from. But yeah, there we go. Lori says she does the same thing. I don't know how this is going to turn out. To me, it's looking kind of muddy. But we'll see. We're just playing and we're going to go with it. Come on. I'm trying to get this area moving a little bit, because it doesn't seem to want to. Yeah. I think that cobalt teal didn't really move much. Like normally it does, but I feel like it didn't. Let's see here. If we just kind of, you know, and then if we do this, sorry you guys, I know it's hard to see. Let's see here. I can take this and spray it just to get it moving a little more. And then maybe we'll take some more of that Rose of Ultramarine. Get some more of that bright pink in there. Yeah. Seriously, what is with me and the sound effects with this? Good job, Jen. Good job. All right. Again, not sure how I'm feeling about this. It kind of looks like a muddy mess. I'm going to try to trust the process just a little bit. But I do want to put in a little bit of texture because it does feel kind of dark and muddy. So I think what I'm going to do is crumple up this paper like this, paper towel, and kind of put some texture in some of these areas like that, just to lighten it a little bit. Thank you, Smile. Yeah, sometimes like I look at it and I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna go well, and then, you know, it kind of devolves from there. I've been other times I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna go well, and then I end up really liking it. So we'll leave it like this and go from here and see what happens. You know, sometimes the ugly things turn into something nice. I have a hair that keeps like hitting the back of my arm, and I don't know where it is. Oh wait, here it is. There. Okay, let's dry this little bitch. I'm gonna sip my coffee while I do. I'm even doing that a little bit while it's drying too. Good morning, Natalie. How are you this morning? Long time no see, my friend. Almost there. All right. There we go. Life been life, and I hear you, girl. You know, I was telling somebody yesterday that I feel like May, they put Mother's Day in May to be like, oh, mothers, we love you so much, blah, 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 blah. Just so that they can make you feel a little bit better about May being the busiest season for moms at the end of the school, you know, the school year. And that's why Father's Day comes in June, because that's when the kids are out of school. What kind of board do you suggest to use for watercolor painting? I assume you mean like, what do you paint on? Normally I just tape it to my desk. Other than that, I love using just a regular old clipboard. This is the one I've been using for this one, but these are just like, I think Amazon, oh, this one's Amazon Basics. I don't remember where this one came from. We've had a lot of clipboards over the years. This one is in a notebook. So yeah. All right, so we've got this one. And I think what I'm actually going to do here is clean up this little mess here first, because I don't want that on everything else. And I'm actually going to take this and go like this, because it's going to be easier for me to draw if this is like this. All right. Now I'll just take this and clean it. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is bring in my adhesive size. For clipboard, what do you suggest? Cardboard, wood, or plastic? I suggest plastic because the moisture does get underneath here because it is cotton paper. Unless you're using, you know, a blend, either way, it's still going to get wet underneath. And cardboard and wood do react to wetness. I do have cardboard or pressboard or whatever, like that brown one back there, if you can see it, like right there is. I have two of those. And I don't like those for watercolor. The only thing with the plastic that you have to be careful of is if you're using a heat gun to dry it, you don't want to melt it. So for this, what I'm going to do is bring in this kind of beat up speedball pen and nib situation. Normally I use this because it's easier to see, but I love, you are very welcome. But I love this one and I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to leave this one off to the side. And by ruin it, I really mean I don't want to get the stickies all up inside of it and then have to try to figure out how to get it all out because it's a pain in the butt and I just don't feel like dealing with it. So, there is a nib. Did I put it back in here? I might not have. Oh no, I did. Okay. So I use this nib. This is not labeled, so I don't know what kind it is, but essentially I believe there are both speedballs. Oh wait, it is labeled, but I really can't even see it. Hang on. It is a D. Oh my gosh, you guys. I see a D X2. I think that's an L. I don't know, you guys. Don't even listen. Just, I know that this is a Speedball brand. You don't need to get the Speedball brand. And just get something that has a fine tip, that has a clip like this attached to it that holds your fluid. That sounds gross. But yeah, okay. Then your metal leaf, which is your adhesive sizing, your metal leaf sizing. It says adhesive size, but some people call it sizing, some call it size, I don't know. All right, so this stuff is like this very watery stuff. It's white. It looks like this. It's very sticky. I would keep some rubbing alcohol nearby to get the stick off of your hands. That's the part that drives me crazy because I don't like stick on my hands. No, I'm not autistic. I just don't like it. So before we get started with that, one thing that you might find helpful is to use a pen or a pencil and draw your design, whatever you want to do, over the top of it. Sometimes what I have started doing is using a white watercolor pencil so that you guys over here can see what I'm drawing, and then I just go over the top of it with this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Trying to decide what kind of design I want to do here. I know we did kind of these little loop-de deals, so maybe we can do some of those, but I also want to leave room for being able to bring in some of these metallics to paint with. So let's see here. We did floral the last time we did this. Where is it? It is over here. So we did this floral. So I'm not sure I want to do the floral. Could I also use tracing paper and trace over a coloring book page? That is a great question. So if you used tracing paper, you would put it over the coloring page, you would trace it. The problem would be getting it onto this page here. And I do have a way to do that. So what you would have to do is take like a Sharpie, something very dark. So when you're tracing it on the tracing paper, you get it nice and dark. And then what I do, that's what I mean, trace it right onto that paper. So you can't trace it from the tracing paper right onto this paper because, you know, tracing paper usually sits on top. However, what I do, and I don't have it over here right now, I have my iPad, and what I do is I open it in Procreate, and this is actually in, I'll show you. Here's something I traced on tracing paper. How am I going to get it onto here? Because this has to sit over the top of this, right? The paper's underneath it. So what I do is, well, here, let me just explain what I do in this situation. Because this is also in the peacock things, like paper that's already black and you trace over it. Are you talking about like carbon paper? Because that's a very messy process in that, like, it's not always accurate. Yes, you can use carbon paper. I do have some of that as well, but I don't like that method because the transfer isn't always clean. But what I would recommend is if you have an iPad or a light pad of some sort, you can usually get those pretty inexpensively on Amazon. But what I'll do, and this is in the peacock videos that I did, is I use an iPad. I open Procreate or just anything that can give me just a white screen. And then I turn on what's called guided access. And if you don't know how to do that, just Google it. And then what I'll do is I'll put this on the screen itself, and then I'll put the paper over it and then turn off all the lights. And then it shines through enough for me to be able to see it through the paper. And then I'll trace it that way. So once I get the peacock videos, well, I actually already have them ready to go. I just don't want to post it until this is completely done. So that way people can watch all of it. Then you'll be able to see that process. But so that's how I do that. Or how about when you use graphite on one side and then trace over the other side? I've seen people do that too. I mean, I think when it comes down to it, there are a million ways to do the same thing, right? So you have to find what works best for you. You could certainly do it that way. I just think that it's not as, for me, it's not as precise. Like if I'm looking for something to be precise, I don't want something that's going to be messy. I don't want something that's going to give me a higher likelihood of error. And so let me see, it would still be messy though, I would think. Yeah. So that's why having a light pad, or in my case, I just draw on my iPad. Like I literally use my iPad to just shine the light up through it and draw on the top of it. It just makes it easier. So yeah. But like I said, I have that recorded and it'll be in the first peacock video. I already have all the videos uploaded to YouTube, but they're not published yet. I'll publish all of them at the same time. You don't need an iPad to do that. You can get a lighting pad, like a light pad on Amazon for relatively inexpensive. I want to say less than $30, maybe even less than $20. I just don't need one because I have an iPad. Or if you have like a glass table, then you can shine a light, like a table lamp, up underneath it and do it that way. Basically the only thing you're looking to do is get light coming from underneath the paper that's bright enough to shine through whatever it is that you want to trace onto your paper. Yeah. Yeah, and I would say if you can't do that right now, then the best thing would just be to use whatever you have at your disposal to try to get some light through the bottom. I mean, you could even use, like if you have a picture frame that has a piece of glass on the front, you could take the glass out and use like a, let me do this. I usually, where's my glass? Oh, it's over here. So like this is a picture frame glass that I use for resin and other things, as you can see. So if I wanted to do this, let's say I put this down and then I put my paper, this is a bad example, but I'll put my paper down like this, and then I would shine a light up through this and trace over the top of it like this. And if you would like to see what that could look like, I'll turn this off and let's see, I can't get that lamp over here, but I thought I had another light over here. Hold that thought. Be right back. Okay, so if you wanted to, this is again a bad example, but this is all I have right now, is shine a light up through it, and you can see that the light goes through the paper, and you can put your design through it. Now there is, or obviously you can see there's a painting on this side. So if it was just a blank white piece of paper, let me see if there's an area of this paper that is blank, then you can see the design up through it like that, and then just trace it that way. So hopefully that helps. All right, let me turn this off and turn this back on. And we shall get back to it. There we go. All right, hopefully that was helpful. And draw at the same time. I mean, you probably just have to hold it, or get creative and, you know, put a couple of blocks above it and, you know, but either way, that's what you would need to do. Okay, let's get back to it. So for this one, let's, tell you what, let's just do a botanical, with some visual interest maybe in the background. So let's bring this up. I realize you probably can't see that well, but hopefully you can see it well enough. So we'll bring in a leaf, and then another leaf here. Bring in another leaf here. Another one here. And let's see, maybe another one here. I'll kind of just go off the paper like that. And then maybe in the background, we'll have some of these little whimsical lines. I know it doesn't look the greatest, but it is what it is. And maybe behind this guy, we'll have just, you know, our typical this sort of deal, because we're special like that. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Now, we're going to do the adhesive sizing. This is going to be a pain, and I hate it, but it's going to look awesome. So let's bring this down so I can make you guys dizzy for the day, and then bring this in closer so you can see. All right, I'm going to open this. You can see what that looks like. It's very watery, milky. Gonna take this, I'm gonna dip it in here. It's gonna look like this. Bring it in closer so you can see it. Let's see if I can get it to focus better. There we go. Okay, so what I do here is I usually start by trying to just get the first little bit off, because sometimes there's some on the back there that needs to blob off first. And then, as you can see, I start getting a line. Now this doesn't always last very long, so I want to just be aware of when that line runs out. And so this is basically going to get us that nice, crisp line that we're going to want for our foil. You've got to be careful with this on the paper, because the paper is a textured paper because it's watercolor, obviously, and you will find that it tries to skip on the texture, and when it does that, it can tear the paper with how sharp this part is. So you just want to be mindful of that. So I'm going to go ahead and dip in here again. I'll just wipe off the back that time. Again, I'm going to come over here and just make sure that blob gets off of there. And like I said in all of my videos before, I like to start from left and go to right since I'm right-handed. So I'm going to go down here and start drawing over this leaf that we did. And we'll go over to this one. I can't necessarily see with my hand in the way, so it's always okay to stop and pick up your pen and nib to make sure you're going along where you need to be going along. Now sometimes what'll happen too as it runs out is it won't put down enough to stick to the watercolor, like to have enough of this to stick to the watercolor paper. So you may find yourself having to go over the same spot again because it'll only add a little bit of the sizing to it. So just be mindful of that. And if after you apply the foil there are areas that are missing foil, you can always just add more of the sizing. And this is usually why I like the sideways nib and pen better, because I can see what I'm drawing better and where I need to go. So then I'm going to get another. Lori, hopefully you're still here and you're able to see this. Okay, I think we got everything. So what I'm going to do for now is just rinse this off in my water. And then I'm going to just set it down here and know that it's not going to completely take away all the stick, but that's because we are probably going to need to go back and add more to this later. So anytime I'm working with foil, I always turn off my fan because it's going to fly everywhere. It always does. And I just use this to dry the area we were just working on. And that's pretty quick. And then I'm going to bring this over. And let me just put this here for now. And I'm also going to just clean up this taped area there that had some extra sizing on it. And let me try to get this figured out over here so I can get these out of the way. Okay, there we go. So what we're gonna do, you guys have seen this before, take your gold leaf, lay it down. If you don't have the paper with it because you're using scraps, that's totally fine. If you do have your paper with it, what I like to do is, if I can get a piece, that'd be great. What I like to do is lay that paper down and then just kind of rub the back like this. That way everything gets good and adhered without scratching the foil or tearing the foil, you know, preemptively. And I'm trying to find a good place to put this. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and just peel up some of these areas. Now, some of them I can already tell didn't stick very well, and that's to be expected because sometimes the application of the sizing isn't quite thick enough, but you'll start seeing some of it stick here. So I'm just going to start peeling up some of these sheets here. That way I can have some larger pieces to work with down the line. And by down the line, I really just mean, you know, down the road sometime. So just make sure you're rubbing that in as best you can. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little fluffy brush and start brushing. And now you can see that nice little line we've got going right there. Okay. Let me just bring this foil around here. I'm going to just put as much of this in my hand as I can so that I can put it back in my little bowl. And then I'm just going to kind of sweep this away a bit. So you can see what we have left behind. I know, right? Okay, so a couple things to note is, first of all, that needs to go. There we go. So you can see where we lost some of our details in here and in here and in here. Maybe a little bit here, but this one doesn't bother me that much. There we go. So this is a really easy fix. So we're just going to go here, grab some of this, and again, same application process, just dipping. Get that off, any sort of blob off of there. And then I'm just going to go over this area. You can go straight over that little area of foil. And then we'll go over this area. And then this area. Like that. And then this one definitely needs it. All right, I think I want to give this guy just a little extra right there. And maybe just a little extra right there and right there. And this leaf needs a little extra too. All right. This area doesn't really bother me, but because we're already here doing this, I'll just go ahead and do that. All right. So I'm going to just wipe the edge of this here because it needs to happen. Someday, maybe someday soon, I will show you how you can use the foil quills to do the heat transfer vinyl designs. It's a little more difficult and I don't use it often because I think that this looks better, but it is fun. So that's something we'll have to do sometime soon. All right, so I'm just gonna set the pen and nib off to the side. I'm gonna quickly dry this. And that's when I like to bring back my little scraps of foil to those areas, just to, you know, make it a little easier, because we don't need to use our big sheets for that. Let's see, I'll bring this in there, bring this one in here, so you can see how I'm just using the little pieces for that. Grab this one. This one can go there. Pick it up and put that there. Pick this up and put it there. And then, let's see here, this one we need just a little bit bigger of 1/4 since that was a bigger spot. Same with this piece right here. Okay, and then one more, which was this one right here, I think. Yeah, I don't think we did that one. Did we do that one? I think we did. Okay, so I'm just going to press these down really good. And then we'll just use our brush to brush away. And see, no one would ever know that you had to do it twice. There we go. All right, just gonna get these back into my little bowl. Get it on my leg too. Okay, and then we're just gonna take the heat gun and blow that crap away. Okay. Did you use the nib? I did. Oh, you missed it. Dang it. Don't worry, there will be a replay. Okay, let me zoom back in now. Yes, pen and nib. This little guy over here. You'll clean these with rubbing alcohol when you're done, people. Okay, so let me zoom in just a little bit more. I didn't want it quite as zoomed in as it was. There we go. All right, so now that we've got that work done, we can start working on some more of the watercolor aspect of this. And to do that, let me move this over. We're going to bring in some of our shimmers. So you guys know how I feel about my shimmers. I'm going to move this up just a hair so that you can see these a bit more. All right. So I'm going to bring back my number, oh, actually this is my number 6 and not my number 8 heritage. So I'm not bringing it back, I'm just bringing it in. All right, so first things first, I want to do something with this little area back here that we had put behind these leaves here. So I'm going to just do the wet on wet technique here. Get this background area wet. And then I'm going to drop in some color. And I think this one I'm going to just bring in maybe some of that quinacridone gold just to yellow it up a little bit. I don't want it to be too much because I want you to still be able to see the colors through it. You guys know about the stained glass effect by now because I do it like all the time because I'm obsessed. So I'm going to take that. Let me get another, where did I put my paper towels? I literally just had them. There it is. I'm going to just pick up some of that gold because I don't want it to be quite that crazy. There we go. Not yet. I don't love it still. And we'll see. All right, so then I'm going to take that gold again. And again, just going to put that in here. And I'm going to dab off my brush and just pick up the color that is on the edge here because it's on the gold foil and I don't want it on there. There we go. So you can see how it's starting to kind of wrap like that. Good morning, Gail. Thanks, smile. Oops. All right, so now I'm going to do this area. Are you on the road, Gail? Actually, this isn't even part of that. Looks like I missed something here. That's okay. We'll just do it here. Okay, so now you can kind of see that starting to go like that. Oh, yay. Yeah, I saw they were live with their Bible study this morning. Thank you. They're so sweet. I'm gonna just dry this really quick. All right. Now, this is where I'm going to start getting a little more colorful with the leaves. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to do the wet on wet technique, and I'm going to start with this one over here. And I'm just going to paint in some clear water, clean water. It's not really clean or clear, but it looks clear on the paper. And what I'm going to do is decide on the colors while that sits there that I want to use. So I'm going to bring in the swatches that I had done of all the Artistic Isle watercolors that I have. These were some of the new ones that I got. So I got Wicklow, Atlantis, Black Flame Candle, which I'm like obsessed with, Spellbook, Twisted Tide, Haunted, which is like this really nice bronzy brown, Glimmer, Amethyst. I had Pink Nova, Cool Breeze. I have Milky Way, Veritas, Tahiti. These are all the ones I've kind of already had. So I'm kind of just looking at these to try to decide which ones I want to bring in. And this is kind of the collection of all the colors that I have from Artistic Isle. So I'm thinking for this, what I want to do is bring in some of the purples. Now, what I had done over the weekend was I had ordered some of these little half pan plastics, and what I wanted to do was take some of those smaller ones and put them in here so that I could put a magnet on them and stick them in here. I haven't gotten to the magnet yet, but so this is the amethyst purple. Yes, I will definitely be doing Wicklow as well. But what I want to do is, let me get this wet again, is bring this in and add some of this amethyst to this one, since it does kind of have this purpley bottom here. And I'm just going to kind of fade it up to the top. So this one's not going to have like we're not looking to make this completely opaque with color. Or with shimmer. So we're just going to kind of add a little bit here and there. And then maybe what we'll do down here is bring in a little bit of that black candle flame, whatever, and add it over here just to sit on top of that. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with that just regular clear water stuff, and for this one I'm going to stick away from Wicklow just because this is yellow right here, but the Wicklow I definitely plan to use. Yeah. So for this one, I think what I want to use excuse me, is hang on, let me go back here and see. So I'm debating between Veritas and Black Flame Candle. They're pretty similar. So you can see this one's Veritas and this one's Black Flame Candle. What is not showing up on this is kind of the gray undertone that this one has. You see how when I turn it, it looks like that? Isn't that so cool? I love that. So I'm thinking, I don't know, Tahiti might be nice too. What do you guys think? This one, or this one for this? You guys vote and I'll do it. I'm going to do Wicklow, just not next to this yellow one. Tahiti? All right, Tahiti it is. And I'll do Wicklow on the next one. Tahiti. Yeah, I love the Tahiti. Trying to get this little ball of whatever that is off. And I think on this side I might even bring in that that purple again, but only just a hair on the bottom, like right there. And then maybe just a little bit of Aloha Kai, like right there. Okay, let's do this one now. This one's getting the Wicklow treatment. Ah, yes, Wicklow. Again, this one I'm not looking to make like super opaque, so I'm not gonna like heavy hand it with this one, or any of them for that matter, but you'll at least get to see it as it dries, how it lights up. And I think up here we'll go with a little bit of Veritas. Just a little, maybe right up in here. All right, so how about I dry this so you can start to see what it's looking like. When I make prints, I have to photograph it instead of scan it. And I have to have the light at a certain angle in order for it to catch it. Look at how that just came to life as it dried. I don't know if you can see it. You're welcome. Just the way it just, like, as it dries and the sparkle comes out, it's like, bam. And it's so pretty. Know how the sparkles catch the light. I know it's hard to see on here, but I'll bring it in close. Let's see if I can. Like as it dries, it's like the sparkles in the watercolor. Gosh, this camera doesn't pick it up. Like you can kind of see it. You know what? Hang on, let me do this. It might just be because it's zoomed in that sometimes it doesn't do it. It's sort of showing it, but again, it just doesn't do it justice. Like I wish I could show you just what that looked like in real life. Let me see if I bring it in there. I don't know, maybe you can kind of see it, but like, do you see how this is like lit up in this little area right along here? I don't know. What do you mean 300 versus 600? Like when it's zoomed in, it pixelates a bit, as you can see. So it doesn't always show metallics as well. I might even go in and do like one more layer of the metallics. Oh, yeah, I don't know how that works on the live, but I know that it's not necessarily the best resolution for live because I had to set it smaller. A smaller frame per second in order for it to not be dramatic all the time. You guys remember when it used to just randomly cut out and be blurry and I would talk about it being dramatic? Yeah, that was that one. All right, I think for this one we'll go with Veritas. It's got that pink in the background. Maybe just a hair of Hocus Pocus. Like, just right there. And then, yeah. And then this one I will put right here. And let's do the Wicklow again, because it's got that pretty gold in it. And maybe I'll bring in some of that Atlantis right up in here. Oh no, they mixed. There. Okay, there we go. Thank you. And then I'm going to do wet again here. And this one, let's do, let's see what other ones I got. These. Let's do this one. So this one's interesting because I put it in this little guy and it looked completely empty because it's like white on the top. And then I poked my fingernail in it and you can see that it like broke it. So I guess when like I added water to it, it kind of like separated somehow. I don't understand how any of that works, but so let's see how I can kind of constitute this back into the shimmer that it was so beautifully before I messed with it. Yeah, I don't really want that. All right, I'll have to deal with that later. Okay, let's re-wet that because it's already dry. And instead, let's do this one because this one's very pretty. There we go. And then for the top one, let's do the black flame candle again. Right there. Just a little bit. And then we've got this one. And for this one, I will use some Atlantis. That one's probably a bit too bright. Me too. I almost didn't buy that one. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a chance. And then on the bottom, let's do Kula. Maybe with a little bit of this pink Nova. Okay. All right, let me dry these real fast. I hate that you can't see that. Okay, let me do this real quick. All right, you can sort of see it. Dun, dun, dun. But I think maybe we need another layer of it so that it doesn't compete so much with the background textures. Yeah. So let's do that again. Or maybe we do this a little differently in that we can make it more wet on dry technique, so we have a little bit more control over kind of the density and how it fades out. So like this can start here like this, and then maybe this just gets the clear water like this. And get the black flame candle that we had right here and bring it up like this. And then we'll just kind of very gently bring in just some light water so that it doesn't spread too much, but it spreads enough that it kind of creates that gradient. Let's see what that does. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring this up. So you can see it's wet. Let's see if I can dry it in a way that you can see how it shimmers when it comes, like as it dries, you can see the shimmer just pop. I don't know if you can capture that on the camera very well. I think last time I did this, I actually had to put the camera sideways for you to be able to see it. You guys want to go sideways so you can see it better? You can see that better there. I can take you sideways if you want to go sideways. All right, I'll take you sideways. Ooh, you guys are gonna get dizzy for a sec. Sorry. Okay, whoops. You guys are gonna get a little dizzy. Just a little. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this one. Let me just move you this way a hair. This one you can see really well right here, so I'm not really worried about that side. It's really more this side. Although I still really want to see more on this. Trying to decide how I want to do this. So I think what is really bugging me most is that you can't really see any shimmer up here. So maybe what we do instead is bring in some of this gold up here. And let's bring in some of this right here just to accent that blue. And then we'll just continue to add some purple in here. And then rather than disturbing this too much, we'll just paint some water over it so that it all blends together. And I know that glare is not great, which is why I had to move it last time. But let's see here. I can be. It's just I have a certain look I'm going for, and when I don't get it, I feel the need to keep going until I do. And even then, like, I'm looking at this on my computer compared to in real life, and it's like it just isn't doing it any justice. Let's see if I zoom out and back in just a little bit. And let's do this. Trying to make it to where it doesn't do its crazy thing that it does, where it just jumps all over the place. Okay. I know it's a bit dark too now. It is what it is. Okay, let's do this side. So this one I'm going to do the wet on wet because we didn't really do a whole lot to this side, if anything. And I think I'm going to do the black flame candle just because it does have kind of that smoky look to it. And then in that blue area, I'm going to just add a little bit of Atlantis. And then again, going back in with that black flame candle and just bringing that down from up here. Okay, now let's see. Because what I'm really trying to do is differentiate these leaves from the background. And the shimmer is what's supposed to do that, or what's supposed to help do that. Okay, so now I want to do something here to make this a little more dramatic. And I think the best way to do that would actually to bring in Veritas, because it's similar to the black flame candle, but it's going to bring in more of a pink. And then what I'll do is just use some clean water to pull that down this way. There you go. And I think just to bring in some fun visual interest, I'm going to bring in whatever this dark one is. Let me think. It's called Haunted. I'm going to just bring in a little bit of that down here. And maybe a little bit up here. And then I'm just gonna kind of add some water here. Dry this off a little so it doesn't spread too far. There we go. I'm gonna add just a little bit more Tahiti there. All right, so there's that. Now let's work on this one. I'm gonna just bring this down a little bit. I think that's looking a lot better. So this one, we were working with Wicklow, so I'm gonna bring in some Wicklow with the wet on dry technique and get it a little darker over here. Get some of that off. Just drag that through. And I think for over here, we'll just bring in a little bit of this purple. And then again, I'm just going to take some water and blend those together a little bit right there in the center. And then for this one up top, let's go in with a little bit of that amethyst. And go back in with the Veritas over here. Make it just a little brighter. Okay, I know up close it looks dark. It's not really that dark in person, but I do feel like it still needs more. So I'm going to go back in with Wicklow again. Again, just right here. Gonna get some water on there and just start to blend it towards the center. And I do feel like this still needs some additional color. So I'm going to bring this down towards the center so that they can meet in the middle. And maybe where they meet in the middle, I'll bring in some of that Veritas. Okay. Now, I'm going to jump over to here and again grab that Wicklow and bring it down like that. And I'm just going to drag that down here, grab some of that Atlantis and bring that through the rest. And then for the top one, I'm going to grab Atlantis again and put that in the middle. And then I'm going to grab Veritas instead of just getting it blended out. And I'm going to put that there like that. And then we'll grab Tahiti and put it here. There. All right, now let's bring this down a little bit further. This one, we're gonna bring in Hocus Pocus right here. And let's do Pink Nova, which I think she actually calls Nova now. And then up here, I'm going to bring in some more of this pink here and here. And then in the center, I'll bring in Veritas. Like that. And then down here, I'm going to bring in that black flame candle again. And I think this one is a good one to fade into Veritas just because they are so close. So I'm going to go ahead and just add these two together here. Maybe add a little bit more of that black flame candle. This one I think looks pretty good. Maybe I'll add just some Tahiti towards the edge here. And then again, just add some of this so that they blend. And then over here, we'll grab some Atlantis. And let's do Aloha Kai. They're kind of in the same color family of blues, but one has gold sparkles, the other has blue sparkles. And then down here, we'll do the amethyst. And how about here? I know we didn't do Cool Breeze before, but I kind of want to do Cool Breeze. So let's do Cool Breeze. Let's see what happens. This might also be one I messed up, so we'll see. Yeah, I think I messed that one up when I added water to try to get it into its little pot. So let's do Emerald Coast. Okay, let's try it. All right, now I'm gonna bring you all back up and over. I'm sorry about the crazy. All right. Hopefully you all can see that. And I will adjust this again. Move this up for you. Oops. Ta-da! See? Isn't it pretty? All right, now, the only thing that's not pretty to me is this little line in the back that we were working on. So, I am thinking what might be pretty cool is to bring in Sunken Treasure. That's nice and dark. It gives it a pop, and it's got this gold in it. We could also bring in I was thinking antique bronze, but I don't think I want to bring that one in. We could mix a couple of colors together, like Sunken Treasure with Aloha Kai, or with Kula, or with Emerald Coast. I'm thinking Sunken Treasure. Ooh, or with Milky Way. That way we get like extra gold. I think we should do that. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, here we go. So this is Sunken Treasure right here. I'm just going to go in and start to paint. Okay, now let me grab lots of this. Get it sparkly, shiny. It's like that that song in Moana by the crab Tamatoa. I'd rather be shiny, shine like a wealthy woman's neck, scrub the deck and make me feel shiny. Okay, let's just take a moment and see what that looks like when it's dried, and then make sure it's what we want before we do the rest of it. Okay, so I like it, but I feel like it's a little too much gold. It's competing a little too much. So, let me think. I could bring in, actually this might be a good one, some Prussian Blue by Artistic Isle. This one is a really lovely, very pigmented blue. Ooh, look at that. Yes, honey. Okay, I think I'm digging this one. Kind of calms it down a little bit. Okay. I think I'm happy with that being more blue. Let's just dry it. Okay, so the only downside here is that because we did the other one first and then put this over the top of it, it's a bit splotchy. So let me see if we can kind of help that along a little bit. Make it a little less splotchy. Might just need that second layer and then it should be good. I don't mind there being kind of like run lines in it like that, but I don't like there being like bam splotches. Yeah, I'm thinking that's pretty cool. All right, so we'll go with that. So we'll have to do the rest of them the same way, since that's how we achieved that there. So we'll just take this and again line this right here. Grab this, make it nice and extra glittery. And then we got this last one over here. Almost done. All right, now let's try this and then add the other one, and then I think we can do our tape pull. It is glowing, isn't it? Okay, sure. All right, here we go. Get that Prussian blue right up in there. So we'll do 2 coats of this Prussian blue over the tops of these. And that'll give it that nice dark blue tone that the top one has. Now, before I do the tape pull, there is one little area over here that I think I got some of this dark blue on that's covering some of the gold leaf. That makes it look like it is missing part of the stem of this floral or this botanical. So I'm gonna just use my brush to get that off here in a second, and then we'll do our tape pull. There we go. All right, everybody, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's start by peeling this one. Ta-da! All right, so that one's off. Now let's do this one. Okay, short. Let's do this one. And that one just came off super easy. Ta-da! All right, everybody, check it. Dun, 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 dun. It always looks so much better when the tape pull is done, because it's like complete. You know what I mean? Complete. So, we accomplished several things today. We made our color palette with Palette Scout. We learned how to make these very thin lines and precise lines with our pen and nib. Lori, I will post the replay ASAP so that you can watch that. I'm almost completely caught up on posting replays, by the way. And we got to see some of these new watercolors from Artistic Isle in use, which is awesome. Also, for those of you that don't know, if you are in the market for some new watercolors that are metallic, Lindsay from Artistic Isle is giving my subscribers a discount code. I do not get any kickbacks from this. I am not an affiliate. I just love these watercolors, and I have been using her since 2019. The discount code is all caps Florida Gen 10. So feel free, to go check that out and see if there's anything there that you want to get. If you have questions about colors, I'm happy to post those. I should probably actually just take pictures of these and post them on my website somewhere so that you guys can check them out. But again, the discount code is Florida Gen 10, and it's Artistic Isle. It looks like this, artisticisle.com. And so I will post those there. And yeah, so this has been fun. I hope you all enjoyed. And I think it turned out great. I still don't love the background. It's okay. But, you know, kind of next to each other, I don't mind it. I'm kind of digging it. So, all right, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you again tomorrow. Mwah! Bye, everybody.